folks, welcome to Arithmetic channel. Today on the second tutorial for JavaScript, how to learn arithmetic operators, and on previous tutorial was how to learn variables and comment on JavaScript, and also for accessing this code and how to run it locally. For example, this we can now run this code here and we can see it on the browser that is running here. So how to do all this and access to this, so already I explained this on introduction for this tutorial. So if you didn't watch that, I would recommend go back and try to watch the full tutorial. I will leave the URL for that tutorial down of this video. So let's start first to learn how to declare this arithmetic operator and what if each one of them will do basically. Before do anything at the beginning here, as we learned last tutorials. So first let's just declare a variable. So we learned last time how to declare a variable, and this variable I'm going to call it 5. And this will be assigned the value which will be 5, and then another variable, call it 10, and then assign to number to 10 basically. And then as the int here, and also I explain how we actually mix this JavaScript with or HTML with the JavaScript inside this React app. And we can add, for example, the HTML element, and then inside here I can add that JavaScript variable by opening this curly braces or object bracket. And then inside here I want to do a logic. Basically the first initial logic I would, for example, if I need to say multiplication, which would be 5, if I want to say 5 plus 10. Let's see this is what it will show. If we save this, go to the browser, now we see 15. And at the beginning of this variable I need to add a text, so we can just know what is actually what we're doing here. Instead of displaying the value, we need to display the value of this multiplication, and also we need to display this text. So let's just add the text outside the curly braces, so that will not be treated as a JavaScript code. If we save it, reload, so now that say 5 plus 10 15. Instead of this, let's just add equal, and that's say equal 15. So next let's try subtraction operator. Basically this will be minus instead of plus, and save it, go to the browser, and now that 5 minus 10 would be minus 5. And so let's go to next operator, multiplication. That would be changing, just change this minus to star and this to star, so we can see that what we learn actually on the browser, 5 multiplied by 10 will be 50. And then next would be division, so division operator, so that will be 5 divided by 10 and 5 divided by 10. So this will be just a text, and this will be a JavaScript variable or this operators variable. And then if we see 5 divided by 10 would be that 0.5 or half. So next operator would be increment. So we have increment operators, just need to increment 5. Increment by default will just increment the actual value as variable value by 1. For example, this 5, it will be increment by 1. So basically just add that here. So increment 5, so that how to add increment 5, basically let's just remove this. At the beginning of this line, let me add minus 1 or minus 5. So that how to increment a variable value. For example, this 5 will be increment which will be 4 instead of 5. If we replace, seems there is a syntax error. So as I explained in last tutorials, when we use let instead of const, so in this case basically because we'll try to override this variable, and const by default is not overridable, so that will fire an error. Instead of const we are going to change this to let, and that would fix just the error, and that now is 4. So incrementing 5, it would be 4. So next would be decrement. Let's just add that here. Decrement, and decrement will be plus instead of minus. Let's decrement 5. So just save it and go to the browser. If you see that is 5 now, it's 5 because as the previous line we increment it, so that is 4 and now is 5. but for example, if we decrement twice, then it would be 6. If you see that now is 6. And actually, and then just let me undo that. So they're just showing you the increment by 1. And let's also try 10 instead of 5. Let's see if that is still working as expected. So we expect first to return here 9, and then this would be 10, because the 9 then increment by 1 will be 10. So let's just, because that's also an error, we need to change this to let and change 5 back to const, because that's not override now. If we save it and reload, if you see we have 9 and 10 increment and decrement, and now if we duplicate the decrement, that would be 11, and every time decrement, that will just add additional 1. So this arithmetic operator, how to declare them, how to use them, and this example, basically live example, to see what you already learned. And if you have any question, just leave it down on the comment section. And if you didn't subscribe, subscribe so you can get all new videos and tutorial. And thank you for watching, and see you in very next tutorial.